Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, we are kind of continuing on with a similar theme.
I know.
We had
Are you
your
are you feeling lucky?
Are you feeling lucky? That's what it is. We had our Dodger episode,
Yeah.
and then we had our Afternoon Delight episode where we were kind of talking about the Dodgers, and we are kind of talking about, is sports completely rigged? And in the nature of what's organic and what's contrived, what was today's episode your idea about?
Well, is there any such thing as luck?
Like luck.
Yeah, like
Like, oh my God, Nicole Kidman just was like in the right place at the right time.
yeah,
That's what it was.
like are you know how they used to say that oh, she was discovered at the soda fountain. Like that was the story I think in the 50s with these actresses, like some big Hollywood agent discovered her at the soda fountain. Um,
Sounds like an unlikely story.
yeah. And I think that's even more unlikely these days. But I read an interesting book that I told you about that it's called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. He's written like a lot of books like this. Like he wrote The Tipping Point, and I'm sure he's in the Culture Club, and it's probably all Kool-Aid.
But I remember you talking about it.
But I think there's some interesting points that he made, and the book is a fast read because it's written in a way where it's not fiction, but he tells like all these little individual stories. So it's like reading like short stories, and it's all basically
Vignettes.
their vignettes, and it's all the premise is all about how um are you are you lucky and are you in the right place at the right time? And basically he points out that every super successful person in like all of these various categories in whether it's sports or computers or whatever it might be, the people in the top tier that are super successful, um, they were lucky, but they were also at the right place at the right time. And what was their lucky thing was that they took advantage of the opportunities that they were given. So they may be considered lucky, but they were at the right place at the right time, and they recognized either consciously or subconsciously, they recognized the opportunities that were presenting themselves to them, and they acted on those. So like he talked about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and how like at the time that they were growing up, how they were, you know, like Bill Gates was this computer nerd, and all he wanted to do was go like hang out in the computer lab. And he put in all these hours, and um ended up becoming extremely knowledgeable about this stuff and became really good at it. And so he was kind of at the right place at the right time. And I know like you had your doubts about that, which I do too, because he's in the Culture Club. But he also, what I thought was interesting, he was talking about like sports, and how he was saying how almost all of the professional hockey players are born at a certain time of year. And what it does is it puts them at an advantage as children
Yeah.
to be the bigger, older kids in the group, and they become the bigger, better athletes at the time in their little teams. And so they get advanced to like the all-star teams, and then those kids get selected
No, I think that's
for
real.
more coaching and
I think
stuff.
that's real. I
Yeah.
think what Satan does though is he goes good, 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 but if you wanna, you're gonna have to come sell your soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, good, good, good. No, Bill Gates, good. No, no, I know you're a nerd. You didn't get any chicks. You hung out in the computer lab and just became like a nerd, and you learned all this crap about computers. But that's not the reason that Microsoft was launched from you.
No.
What happened is, no, DARPA is controlled by me. I'm Satan, and I control DARPA, and we steal technology from people who invent stuff. We steal their patents, and then we use you because you're knowledgeable, yes, but you'll do anything for money and power, and that's what's good.
Well, I think so. I think there's something to this point that like this guy makes in this book where he says, right place, right time, timing and taking advantage of the opportunities. But also he said that these people all put in the time, like they all put in 20,000 hours of work on whatever topic it was. And I think that's true too. But um I think also what's happening is what we see happening. Like, I think a lot of people probably do that and they never get the outcome that they want because, and they might feel unlucky or they can't catch a break. But I think what happens mostly is that, like in some of these key areas like Hollywood, music, politics, whatever, what we've discussed before is that you have to sell your soul to be an A-lister in any of those major categories. And I think if you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to catch that break or
That's it.
be lucky.
Well, you made a comment about something recently. I can't remember what the context was, but you said people are fickle. Remember? So what happens when people are fickle is so you're Nirvana and you come out with an album and everybody loves it. And everybody even loves the follow-up album. But then they're fickle and they're starting to kind of not be interested in you anymore.
Right.
Now they're kind of interested in some other stuff. So the Culture Club was like, no, 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 that's fine. We'll sell your album. You can make millions of dollars, and we're not even controlling it. Just what you say is selling, so that's good. But now your popularity is waning a little bit. People aren't listening to. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's 1994. You came out that in 1984. So so Bono, come here, Bono. So look, you haven't really had a hit album in a few years, so just come here and sign this, and now you can have a career for the rest of your life.
Right.
But you're just gonna have to, now you're gonna have to have like four trannies in there somewhere.
So what you're saying is, and let me see if I interpreted that right, because if what you're saying is what I think, then I totally think that's what's happening. Is that so? I think like the point that this Gladwell guy makes in his book is that luck is about being at the right place at the right time, but acting on the opportunities given to you, and then putting in the hours that it takes to become good at something. But um, that's only going to get you so far because in order to make it to the A list, ultimately you're going to have to sell your soul.
Look at Kurt Cobain.
Am I right? Is that what you
Totally.
so
And
I
I think
think
Kurt
it's
Cobain's
like
a
a
good
it's
example.
like a combo. So you might become you two and you might, get to that point, but eventually you're going to have to completely sell your soul.
So, like this is kind of a hypothesis about Kurt Cobain. So, they were talking to Dave Grohl, and they were talking about Kurt Cobain, and
Who
in the
Dave Grohl has a lot of suicided friends in his world. Did you know that?
which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, he's totally a Culture Club member, and
Yeah.
he's one of those guys who's unabashed. But they said Kurt Cobain was practicing every day. He would literally pick up his guitar in the morning and play it until the night, and
Mhm.
he just practice and practice and practice and
He
practice.
was putting in the hours.
And when they came out with Nevermind, I can't remember the producer. His name is Vig or something like that, and he was a big producer. And he said, I didn't really have to do much with them. They came in, they were so well rehearsed. They came in and just were incredible. They could play their instruments perfectly. They could play their songs perfectly. So absolutely, that guy's book is correct as it pertains to Nirvana. They were just in the right place at the right time. They were practicing and practicing and practicing, and then all of a sudden, the spotlight hit them. And because Motley Crue was kind of becoming passe,
Mm-hmm.
and like the hair metal bands were becoming passe, so now suddenly it was this new sound,
Mm-hmm.
and the Culture Club was all over it. They're like, dude, we'll make millions of dollars off
We
of
can
you.
make money off this.
But I think what happened, and I think you saw this happen with Kurt, is he was going into this turmoil where they were like, good, 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 but they were trying to corral him into the Culture Club.
And then he married Courtney, whatever.
And she
And
is
she,
Courtney was in the Culture Club.
yeah, I think she was his handler.
She was his handler, and
Mhm.
I think that's essentially what happened. Is he probably, and this is my opinion, he probably didn't want to join the Culture Club, and they killed him.
Yeah. Well, I think may have
She
had
was
some
there.
she may have had some
Have you ever watched that? They had a
yeah,
documentary where they broke it down, and there's
and
all kinds of weird stuff.
he just ended up
She ended up
unalive.
she talked to some bearded fat dude like the day before he died and
Mhm.
offered him 50 grand to kill him.
Oh
And
God.
he came out after the fact and said that and got
Mhm.
killed the next day.
Mhm.
That's weird.
That's weird. Coincidence.
That's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
So my point is, I'm not trying to say I'm trying to bring up a Nirvana conspiracy. What I'm saying is, I think the way that it works is, yes, you have people that are skilled and they practice and practice and practice, like Tiger Woods, and they get really good at what they're doing. But then Satan goes, okay, that's good, but you're not going to be able to just not be in the culture club.
Mhm.
You have to come here. And eventually, in order to become an A-lister, you have to capitulate to the culture club.
Right.
And I think what we're trying to do with our podcast is break down that paradigm
Yeah.
and say, no, 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 no. Let's start a new alternative platform
Organically.
where it's organic, where you can actually just be honest
Mhm.
and we'll distribute it with our own channels
Right.
and we'll start our own distribution because Satan is controlling all the distribution.
Totally. I mean, and that's a reminder for us that, we need to get our website going and start putting our stuff out through that too, because
Yeah, you gotta do it.
who knows how long we're going to even be able to have a voice here anymore,
No, that's right.
But you brought up a really good point though about like, people being fickle, which is what I always talk about. Um, and it makes me think about how like there's always like a new it girl or it guy. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Suddenly out of nowhere, there's like an actress or an actor that is just all of a sudden in everything. And two that come to my mind right now are, um, did you see the new Top Gun movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So the guy, I can't remember the character name in the new movie. He plays the guy he's kind of a jerk. Anyway, I had never seen
He's
him.
Goose's son?
No, not Goose's son. It was one of the other guys.
Okay.
I had never seen him in anything before. I'm sure he was probably in some stuff before. Um, but now literally like he's in like every
What if he's a
major,
clone? What if he was made in a lab
yeah, a
and
clone.
now they have him as the new it guy?
Or he's in everything. And I used to think that casting directors were just lazy and they just kept going with the same person all the time because, oh, well, he worked for the last film and, he's making money. So let's, but what I think now is that um, I think that these people get to a point like that, like what you were talking about, and then they have to sign on the dotted line and they're like, you're going to sell your soul, but you're going to be rich and famous and you're going to be everything. And then they start just putting them in literally everything. And there's a girl out there right now too who um, I've seen in I saw her in a movie a couple years, like several years ago, and then I never really saw her much after that.
You know
And
what I think?
suddenly, like every third Netflix
Totally.
movie that's out there right now, she's in it.
I think Satan does that when there's no talented people coming out with new stuff.
Hmm.
He's like, okay, well, I'm not really seeing a lot of new talent out there, so let's just go ahead and take. Is she willing to sell her soul? Okay, good. Get her to sell her
I
soul,
think
and
there's
then we'll just put her in everything.
I think there's more to it than that though, because like I know that there are thousands of other actresses and actors out there, literally thousands that could do the exact same stuff that these people are
And
doing.
they'll sell their soul.
And they'll sell their souls and they're going to acting classes all the time and they're like paying for private coaching and all the most expensive headshots and everything else. And they are not getting in any of these things. They're not even getting like the chances or opportunities, but they will use this one particular person to literally play all these parts that 20 other people could be. There's enough to go around, you know what I mean? But I think they pick like certain ones and they make the deal with them. And this is the deal is that you're going to be the it girl and you're going to be in everything now.
Yeah.
And this is what you have to do.
I'm wondering if maybe Satan knows his agenda
Hmm.
and he finds actors and actresses that are conducive to forwarding that agenda.
Yeah.
Like some actresses, like I'm thinking about what was the girl who was in Her? What's her name?
Her
And she was also, she's the blonde. She was the it girl
is
for
it Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson?
Johansson.
Yeah.
So Scarlett Johansson is one where I
Yeah.
think she's conducive to the Culture Club
Right.
because she'll come out and be beautiful and kind of seem deep and kind of seem sensitive, but she's not really going to guide you away from the Culture Club agenda.
No.
She's kind of going to make it look enticing and sexy,
Mm-hmm.
but she's kind of like alluring because I always thought she was real alluring.
Yeah.
Like you can't take your eyes off her,
Mm-hmm.
but she's guiding you to the Culture Club.
Right.
I think that's what it is. So you get these it girls, and
And
they're
it boys.
conducive, it boys too, and they're conducive to the agenda. Because what I think Satan doesn't want is people who have character traits that might get people kind of waking up
Right.
or distracted from the agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
totally.
You know, like you'll see some actresses come out and you're like, oh my God, I love her, but then I never saw her in anything else.
Yeah. You know what that always makes me think of? So there's two sides to that. So that always makes me think that, what happened to that person? I don't think they wanted to sell their soul. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They didn't want to join the culture club. And then when I see somebody that suddenly is like the it girl or it guy, and they're literally in everything, like you can't drive down like any major road in LA without seeing every billboard with them on various like movie advertisements. You turn on Netflix and it's like every other movie has this person in it. When I see that, I'm like, okay, they sold their soul. I
I
know,
can
I
tell
know
when someone
immediately.
sells their soul. I can
Yeah.
tell. You can tell by looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like so you take an actress and she hasn't sold her soul yet and she's in it. Like let's take remember Titanic?
Mm-hmm.
What's the girl's name in the Titanic?
Kate Winslet.
Yeah. I loved her in Titanic. I
Yeah.
was like in love with her. And she was kind of like she wasn't fat, but she was kind of plump.
She was.
And when
Yeah.
she takes her clothes off to pose for the drawing, she's kind of plump. She's curvy.
Yeah, she's curvy.
Curvy,
Not really even plump, just kind of like
curvy.
healthy looking compared to most of the Hollywood
Yeah,
actresses.
she
Yeah.
was voluptuous.
Voluptuous.
And so, but she also had a depth to her
Mm-hmm.
and she had light in her eyes. And then you see her like a couple of years later and she's got a darkness in her face and it looks like she's seen lots of dark stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And her innocence looks like it's been sapped out of her.
It probably
But
was.
she's also like she's kind of more like sinewy and gaunt.
Yeah.
She's skinnier now
Yeah.
and she's not as hot.
Yeah.
And I noticed that happened with Nicole Kidman too.
Well, yeah,
She was
totally.
kind of voluptuous
Nicole
and robust, and then she became all sinewy and gaunt and
Nicole
had a look in her
Kidman.
eyes like I've been to Satan worshiping
Yeah,
parties.
I remember that movie. It was like one of her first big ones. I think it was called Far and Away with Tom Cruise. That's probably where
Mhm.
they met. She was so pretty and she had like this innocent look in her
She
face.
had thickness to her too.
Yeah, and her
She
face
had some meat on her
totally
bones.
different. And then like suddenly her face looked like a different person and she looked
Mhm.
and you know what the same thing happened to Julia Roberts too. Remember Mystic Pizza? I
Yeah,
loved that
she
movie.
was adorable,
She was pretty cute and she was more
innocent.
voluptuous looking back then too. And now
Yeah,
she's like scrawny looking. And remember you said that you heard her on an interview and she said that she hasn't been able to eat in 30 years or
she
something.
was bummed. She was like, I haven't been able to indulge in anything. All I do is eat my strict diet all the time, and it's ridiculous. I don't get to have a cookie. I don't get to have a
And
piece
you
of
know
cake.
what? Maybe if she had a cookie once in a while or a burger, she'd probably look better.
Well, I think what
She'd look
happens is
happier.
they have their handlers. So they sell their soul,
Yeah.
they become the A team, and now they have a handler, and they
Hmm.
don't get to do anything without their handler. And the handler's probably from the country from 1948. And the handler says, no, 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 no. We need because Nicole Kidman's a good example. She was in this movie called Dead Calm with Sam Neill. And
Hmm.
that came out in like 1991 and it's where she's on a boat with her husband Sam Neill, and then the bad guy comes on the boat and gets rid of the husband, and then starts taking advantage of her and having his way with her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really
Like,
good.
what does he do? Just throw the husband overboard?
Well, he has the husband go and try to fix his boat. So he has the boat. He has the husband go on the boat with him, and he goes, "Hey, help me out! I've got a leak down here." And then when he's down there, he hits him over the head, leaves him on the sinking boat, and
Oh
then
my.
goes and gets with Nicole Kidman, sails off, and starts having sex with her.
Oh
But
geez.
he's like raping her.
God.
It's gnarly. It's a gnarly movie. and Sam Neill manages to like rig the sinking boat and catch up to him and kill him and bring his wife back. It's really good.
Wow.
It's one of the best movies I've ever
I
seen.
guess I don't need to see it now. You just told me the whole story.
I like to spoil. But there's one scene where she's naked and she's climbing up you know how like on a boat they'll have like a little down
Yeah,
area,
yeah,
and then she's climbing up the little ladder up to the deck,
yeah.
and they show her ass, and her ass is like big and robust and round and just delicious looking, right? Then it was only a few short years later she does Eyes Wide Shut, and she's
Okay.
naked pretty much the whole movie
Oh
in
my
Eyes
God.
Wide Shut, but her butt is all narrow now. It's totally narrow. Her butt is like, where her butt before was like this big, curvaceous, voluptuous, like you want to just grab it.
Interesting.
So I think what happens is when they become A-listers, their whole body starts to change. And then
Yeah,
also
and their faces.
their eyes.
Yeah,
You
their
see
eyes.
this darkness around their eyes
Mm-hmm.
and this lack of innocence, and they become more like jaded.
Jaded. Yeah.
I think they see stuff.
Do you think if we become more jaded, we're gonna look like that?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
No, you know what? I think some people they don't sell their souls. They
Yeah,
just won't.
yeah,
I think you and I are like that. You
yeah,
prove that
yeah.
because you went down to Hollywood and you're gorgeous. You could have totally been an A-lister because you're gorgeous.
You're a very sweet Firefly.
But it's true. I think the only reason you're not is because, and that's the reason we get along so good with our podcast, is you are uncompromising.
Oh, it's
It
true.
is unacceptable for you to capitulate to the
Right.
culture club.
Culture Club.
Whereas Nicole Kidman was like, eh,
Yeah. Well,
because she was like living in some like I think she's from like Perth, Australia.
yeah.
When it's kind of quiet over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like kangaroos and possums and like ugly dudes.
But I think her family had ties to the Culture Club, and
Oh,
that's how she like got her in. So that brings me back to our, I guess, our thesis question, which is there any such thing as luck?
I don't think so.
You
I
don't think
think that we live in a completely tightly controlled society where the culture club micromanages from the top down. So I don't think you're going to see somebody just break out. What I do think, though, is kids listening or adults listening, practice a lot at what you love, get really awesome at something. Because if you create something awesome, the culture club will make money off of it.
right. Well, and also I think it kind of goes back to that the premise of that book, which is um maybe luck is more about, when you're in the right place at the right time, you recognize the opportunities that are given to you and you take advantage of those opportunities
Yes, and
to
I
make
think
things
that's
happen. And
I think that's real.
I think that is real. And I think actually, it feels like some people are lucky, like they have more luck, and I think some people seem unlucky and a lot of bad things happen to them. But I think maybe a lot of times what the case is that yeah, maybe those people were in the right place at the right time, but they recognized the opportunity and they took it. Whereas maybe some people they're given opportunities and they don't really take advantage of those. Do you think that could be it?
Yeah, I was thinking about Typo Negative. Remember my band? It
Yeah.
sings about emotional blackmail.
Yeah.
They came out with an album. So he was in a band called Carnivore, and then he started Typo Negative. And Typo Negative came out with Slow, Deep, and Hard. Good title. And just based on the merits of their earnest offering, there was a lot of buzz about it. They were selling their CDs out of the trunk of their car. So
Wow.
they were spreading very organically. And then a record company said, ooh, we can make money off this. So they signed them,
Mm, mhm.
and then they came out with another album. Now, the next album they came out with went platinum.
Wow.
So it was huge. So now Satan came and sat down with him, and he talks about this. And Satan went, good, good, good. Now you guys had a platinum album, and that was just based on the merits of your own offering. I didn't even tell you that you had to put anything in there.
Imagine what you could do if I get my hands in it.
So that's what happened. So
Yeah.
he comes and he goes, here, we got a producer. It's going to work with you. And this producer is going to make your next album huge. And the guys from Typo Negative said, no, thanks. We're going to stick with our own. We're going to do it ourselves. And we're going to have it be all our own way. And because
Mm,
the lead
good
singer
for them.
he wrote all the lyrics, he wrote all the music, and he didn't want an outside producer coming in and meddling.
Yeah,
He said,
because
this is my stuff.
what they do then is they come in and they say, this is what you're going to write about,
Yeah.
and this is what you're going to put in your movies.
You need
And
to put a little bit more of this and
yeah, you
that.
got to have two trannies in this scene in your movie. And,
Yeah.
they start telling you and
Hold this note a little bit longer.
designing it to socially engineer people.
That's right. And that's all part of corralling. So he refused that. And then so now he died back in 2009, the
Wow.
lead singer. He died back then.
How did he die?
Well, he's 6'8" and
Oh,
he was like
gosh.
275 pounds. He was huge, like gnarly dude. He was an imposing figure. And people say kind of like Great Danes, when you're that big, like your heart just kind of gives out. So he
Right.
was 49 and he just died of heart failure.
Wow.
But he was doing coke.
Oh, that probably
Crying contributor.
aided to the heart failure.
Yeah, he was addicted to coke. So he's like drinking wine and doing coke.
God.
Yeah. And he had also his marriage dissolved. So
He was
he
depressed.
had 10 years where he was with a woman and she left him. And then he was kind of like, so like you can hear it in his last two albums, he was devastated. That probably contributed to it. He
Yeah.
was probably heartbroken, did coke, and died. So, anyways, the band members are doing an interview now, looking back in retrospect at their career. And they said Pete refused to let this producer come in that Satan wanted to work with. And so they said, no, we're just going to make this album the way we want it. And Satan went, well, I'm sorry to hear that. You're not going to get the distribution that we're going to give you then. So what they do is they say, you can do what you want. But, so it kind of fell short. It didn't even go platinum, it went gold.
So you think, like when somebody makes the decision, when they're given that offer by Satan and they make the decision not to go with them, you think Satan like meddles to like actually make them more unsuccessful?
Well, I think what he does is he goes, well, that's fine, but I have distribution channels. I'll make sure that everybody gets foisted on him and you're going to be a multimillionaire for the rest of your life. All you got to do is sell your soul.
But if they say no,
No, well, in that case, then
do you,
go sell them out of the trunk of your car.
do you think he like messes it up for them so that like they do worse than?
Well, no, he just goes, I'm not going to help you because Satan controls distribution.
So what I think what a really good lesson here is what that band did, which is you don't have to go along with that and sell your soul. You can still be successful, like
He wasn't successful. As a matter of fact, they talked to Pete late in his life, and he was living in a humble apartment in Brooklyn
oh,
with his cat.
but he had a platinum record.
Yeah, but they screwed him over
Yeah.
because what they do with the artists is they say, well, no, no, no. You got to sell your soul, then you become a millionaire. If you don't sell your soul, you might make 100 grand. That's how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a platinum album and he made like 150 grand or something like that. Like
So
he was not a multimillionaire. So Satan says, I'll make you a multimillionaire. Come on.
so
You have
what's
to not care about money.
you have to not care about money
You have to
or
be like,
fame or fame.
or fame. Like, it's weird. You know who said something about it?
Who?
Joe Rogan.
What did he say?
So he was talking to somebody about their podcast, and they had a podcast too.
Oh, interesting.
And so he was kind of giving them some hints, and he said, if you're going to do a podcast, here's what you have to do. Don't ever look at how many views,
Uh-huh.
and don't ever read your comments.
Interesting.
He's like, don't ever change what you're saying or what you're doing to try to be more popular. Ever. Just be yourself and be completely true to yourself. And that's what you do. You be completely true to yourself, you be yourself, and let the chips fall where they may. Satan goes, well, you can do that, that's fine, but you're not going to get the distribution. That's the thing. You're not going to be able to do that.
Well, I think that's really interesting advice for us because we like don't edit and we don't like to change what we're saying, right?
Well, that's the thing. So that's what he's saying. He's saying what Satan's going to try to do to you is um, he's going to try to come in and say, okay, look, you're gonna have to change this, and you're gonna have to say this, and you're gonna have to do this. And I understand you're writing the show for younger. There's gonna be two trannies that don't really have anything to do with the narrative, and they're just gonna kind of be
But we
there.
want to make that part of the
We're just gonna
narrative.
shove that in there. So good, good, good.
Hmm.
You do that, but now you're gonna be an A-lister. You're gonna be a millionaire.
Well, that's the thing. When you sell your soul, it comes with a price. You're not going to just be able to do whatever you want to
You
do.
don't have creative freedom. You
No.
have a handler now.
Yeah, and you have to do what they say. It's like now you're not self-employed anymore. You've got a boss who's going to tell you what to do.
But the flip side is now you're Charlie Sheen and you wrote a book. And guess what? You get a Netflix release party, you get a documentary, your book goes to the New York Times bestseller, but
But you're also a total scumbag and you have HIV and you're gross and you're
seems like
and you're just like a immoral bottomless pit.
seems like seems like those are my
That's the flip side to that.
seems like that's exactly who do you think is in hell with me? It's a more bottomless pit.
A moral bottomless pit.
That's what you have to be.
Hmm.
So there's no such thing as luck unless you're in a moral bottomless pit.
Hmm.
If you are in a moral bottomless pit, you'll get lucky.
Yeah.
So this is if you want to be a big somebody, if you want to be a big A-lister, be in a moral bottomless pit and practice your craft a lot.
Right.
Because then you're going to get really good at something and Satan's going to see it and he's going to be able to make money off it. Plus, you're in a moral bottomless pit. You'll just go and do whatever you got to do. So if you want to be an A-lister, go become really good at something
And become an immoral bottomless pit.
become an immoral bottomless pit.
Yeah.
That's the white pill. Now,
or wait a second.
For us,
that's not really a white pill.
Well, that's not a white pill.
Okay.
That's kind of a blue pill.
Yeah, that's a blue pill.
That's a blue pill. The white pill is, I think you can break out of the paradigm.
I think so too.
I think you can be so awesome.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
right?
I think you can be so awesome that you're in demand.
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield said something like along these lines one time. I love Rodney Dangerfield, and he was hilarious. And he said he used the word draw. Draw is crowds. You draw a crowd, right? He said if you draw, you can do whatever you want.
Good point.
Satan is just going to go, well, you're making money, so whatever. Right. Satan can't do anything if people love you.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
If you draw, people love you. Alice in Chains, same thing. They were talking to Jerry Cantrell, and they were like, because Lane Staley died real young, so he wasn't able to continue on into the 2000s. But in the 90s, they came out with excellent albums. And Jerry Cantrell, who's the guitarist and the songwriter, he said, we were able to do whatever we wanted because they could go in and with their honest, earnest offerings, sell millions of records. So you can do that. But then you have to have a conversation with Satan because as soon as the crowd gets fickle and your popularity starts to wane, you can go start working at McDonald's. See, I think you should just be like, whatever. I'm not selling my soul. If I have to go and get a regular job, at least I've got my integrity.
I think for a lot of people though, to have that kind of success and then have to fall from that is unacceptable, and so they're willing to do whatever it takes to keep that and maintain that. But I think
Bono, I think, did that too.
I think a lot of them do it, but I think what what we're learning is that you got to stay true to yourself, and maybe that's how you become lucky. You stay true to yourself, and when opportunity arises, you take the opportunity, but you don't sell yourself short.
That's it. And you can succeed. I think
staying honest.
Oh my God, epiphany. This is the epiphany.
Okay, I have one too.
You can succeed. You can succeed. The lie that's foisted on you is that you have to sell your soul to succeed.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
You don't. I think what the key thing is, and
stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself and stay honest. So Satan might talk to us and say, we want you to talk about these things and not talk about these other things.
Don't talk about that country from 1948. You can talk
Well,
about everything else but them.
we don't edit
No.
and we don't try to change our story for a certain audience, just like what Joe Rogan was saying, although I don't think he practices what he preaches. What we do is
No.
we talk about what's on our minds and our observations, and we don't edit those in a way to sugarcoat it for certain
What if
audiences.
Joe Rogan was just being honest for a second?
Maybe he was.
Maybe he was just being honest for a second because it was like right when the interview started, it was kind of casual.
Hmm.
And he was just kind of saying, don't pay attention to the comments and don't, because what he's trying to say is when you sit down to make an episode, just be yourself. Like yesterday, or the last episode that we did one on the LG Bumblebee RZ.
XYZ.
We did that.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't try to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
We were just completely honest about our takes.
We weren't being politically correct.
And that's probably going to adversely affect how many listeners we get, but we're not going to think that way
Mhm.
because I think what the white pill is be yourself. What happened with Kurt Cobain? He was just being himself, and
And
the
people
mainstream came to him.
yeah. So I
I
think
think that can happen
yeah, don't worry about,
organically.
what kind of groups that you're trying to get, but more just be yourself, and the people that like what they hear or what they see, those are the people that are going to want to hear and see more, and that's going to be your audience, right?
I think if people love you, the Culture Club's going to use you because they're going to make money off you.
Totally.
So that's all you got to do is just be yourself. And if people love you, they do. If they don't, they don't.
Right.
You know who I noticed? Eddie Vedder and Bono, both of the same. Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam and Bono from U2. They both in their early work, it was you can tell because I have a soul. I listen to that was soulful music.
Hmm.
Early Pearl Jam, early U2, very spiritual, very sincere, and very powerful.
Hmm.
But then you listen to you see their work take a very distinct shift.
It becomes watered down.
Watered down and very commercial.
Yeah.
Very commercial.
Yeah.
And then suddenly now I'm not relating with the lyrics anymore.
Hmm.
I don't relate with this person anymore. This seems like a guy with millionaire-itis. What I think happens is their fame, their earnest offering starts to wane. And people like Eddie Vedder and Bono, it's unacceptable to just go be a regular anonymous human being.
Hmm.
They love celebrity.
Yeah.
They love being a big somebody. Like Eddie Vedder goes on the interview with Charlie Rose and he's got Sean Penn and they're only talking about Into the Wild and I wrote the soundtrack. And Sean Penn's like, I reached out to the writer and they're just so
Enamored with themselves.
"Oh, I am so powerful.
Yeah.
And then
I control Hollywood.
so those are the people who sell their souls.
For
Is
sure.
people who need that to be adored.
That admiration.
I need to be
Adoration.
adored. I need to be admired, and I need to be a big somebody.
Hmm.
Excuse me,
And
I've
I
got
need to
perfect
stay.
locks of hair.
I need to stay that way.
I need to stay that way. No, no, no. If I have to go just be a humble person with a regular job and maybe my wife leaves me, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
I need to be a big somebody traveling around the world. So Satan goes, good, good, good. Just sign right here.
Hmm.
And then, but see, Sean Penn and Eddie Vedder, when they both die, there's going to be a demon going, oh, Ed, hi. So good to see you. Come here, come here. We have your fiery roost here, and just kind of like the mud flood, you have a window, but it just looks out of hell.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I think that was a really interesting
That was your idea.
conversation. I
That was your
know.
idea. Well,
Yeah.
do you have anything else to say? Because this actually kind of pertains to you, because you personally went down to Hollywood. You are an actress, you're a director, you're a filmmaker. You have all of these attributes, all of these skills and aptitudes that you bring to the table that you could have easily been you could have easily been a household name with the way that you look and how smart you are and how deep you are and how amazing you are. But you had to go down there and find out. What'd you find out?
It's kind of gross.
It's gross. And I think what you kind of found out is you have to compromise.
Yeah. You have to compromise.
Yes.
You have to acquiesce. And Butterfly doesn't acquiesce.
Otherwise, you and I wouldn't get along. If
Yeah.
you were an acquiescer, you and I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to, like, I think, well, just, like with the whole thing with the pokey pokes and the cooties, um, we didn't compromise, we didn't acquiesce. And I think, like, for a lot of people, that's important to
Oh
keep,
yeah.
for me, that's important to keep
When
my
you lay your head
integrity.
down at night, you're not sitting there grappling with the fact that you sold your soul.
Right.
That's got to be gnarly.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I see.
Last thought.
What?
Last thought.
Okay.
This is the other thing too. Um, I watched this movie called Wolfman,
Yeah.
and it's got Anthony Hopkins
Uh-huh.
and Benicio del Toro.
Mhm.
And in Wolfman, Anthony Hopkins is the dad. He turns into the Wolfman and kills Benicio del Toro's mom, and then turns Benicio del Toro into the Wolfman.
Mhm.
And Benicio del Toro is asking him and saying, "Hey, when you became the Wolfman, why didn't you just kill yourself so you wouldn't go kill other people?" And he goes, "Ah, but son, life is too glorious when you know that you're damned.
Wow.
So when you know you're damned, you want to stay here as long as possible because
Mhm.
you know that when you croak, it's no bueno."
Well, I think that's why a lot of these, like, gnarly culture club people like Hillary Clinton and those types wanna live forever.
They want to.
Yeah, it's
Because they
really important
know.
to them. It's
Well, because
important to them.
I think, just like Eddie Vedder and Sean Penn, it's really important that they're big somebodies.
Yeah.
So they sold their soul for that,
Yeah.
and they get to enjoy that, but they want to enjoy that as long as
Yeah.
possible. Like Eddie Vedder is going to live to 92 years old.
Because afterwards, it's not gonna be very fun.
Right this way.
Yeah. But I think what we've probably seen is I think a lot of those people who sell their souls, I think a lot of them later regret it.
They do.
And I think they want like a refund. And you can't make deals like that with Satan. You don't get
You'll get
refunds.
Anne Hecht.
You'll get anheshed. And I think that's what happens to these
You'll
people.
get Charlie Kirk.
I think they make the deal and they, become rich and famous or whatever. And then they realize like this is not the way and
You
they
know what I
want a
think
refund.
happens?
You can't go
You know
back
what I
on the
think
deal.
happens is so when you're in the culture club, you're not going to get treated good. You're going to get betrayed
Yeah.
and you're going to get made do stuff that you don't feel like doing.
Yeah. And after a certain point, I think you're not going to like doing that anymore.
No, and I think, now you're Eddie Vedder, you're 58 years old and your popularity's waning and you're still going on tour. So, part of your contract is I get to have a career for the rest of my life. Good, good, good. But we're going to need you to go and sacrifice a 18-year-old girl, a virgin tonight. So get ready. I'll see you there tonight. And you just come by and you'll get in robes. We'll do a big, satanic ritual and we'll sacrifice a virgin. You're going to have to kill her. So good, good, good. I'll see you tonight. I think that's what happens. I think more and more they get gnarly like orders from Satan
Mhm.
and they have to keep doing gnarlier and
And
gnarlier
that's
stuff.
that's why they become so dark and their eyes become black and
Like Nancy Pelosi. Oh my God, have you stared at that lady lately?
she's gnarly.
She has stared into the abyss.
Yeah.
Satan goes, good, 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 Nancy.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it doesn't work out good. These people get their nipple pierced on the way to get tacos. They don't think it through.
Exactly. And I think like it's like they think that they're gonna be set if they like make this deal. But when you get in bed with Satan,
You
things
get betrayed.
you get betrayed.
Well, look at how Elon Musk came out and said, "Excuse me, Bono, you cut 99% of the charity money in Africa."
Yeah,
You get betrayed by other cult members.
right.
That's kind of how the nature of it is. You don't see this is what is a precept, and this is my opinion. People might disagree. When you get used by Satan, you're gonna get repaid.
Yeah.
If you snuck into this country illegally and you're a cockroach living in a roach motel, you're going to get repaid. That's getting used by Satan. So you think, oh, I'm getting away with something. No, you don't get away with anything.
No.
You don't get away with anything. That's, I think, the light pill.
Don't hang out with Satan.
Don't be worried. You know what? This is the thing. Don't need money and fame. Be yourself, be honest, and let the chips fall where they may.
Good message. I think that's a good place to stop.
I love that.
I love it too. Talk to you
Good
later.
seeing you.
Bye.